This is Fujifilm 16-55 f2.8 and it is probably my most used lens of all time. This is my most used Fujifilm lens and it is the lens that I keep with me in my bag at all times. And I have used this lens to film most, if not all, of my videos that you see on this YouTube channel and on my Instagram account. I absolutely love this lens, and I even made a video on this lens on why it is probably the #1 lens that you should get first if you do own a Fujifilm camera. However, after using this lens for 7 years, carrying its weight and size on my back, it is time for a change. So today we're going to be taking a look at the new 16-55 f2.8, the Mark II version of the lens that I just talked about. And I will tell you why I did upgrade to the version 2. And this is just a first impressions video. We're going to be opening up the box and looking at what's inside. And we're going to discuss some of the key differences that I can instantly tell between both lenses. Now, I ordered this lens pretty recently, around 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it did take a bit of time for it to be delivered, as I think it is a bit back ordered, as this lens is very, very popular. And it was even popular with the Mark I that I was using. It is probably the best video lens to use on a Fujifilm camera, as it is 16-55, which translates to a 24-70 f2.8, and you don't get more versatile than that. Whenever I traveled or went anywhere, that is the lens that I had with me mostly at all times. So we have the usual manual, nice little microfiber cloth. There we go. And honestly, this is my first time ever holding the Mark II, and I can instantly tell without even holding the Mark I that this is absolutely way lighter and smaller than the version 1. Now, material wise, I don't think they're made of the same material, as I think the version 1 was made of pure metal. I think this is probably a mix. I am not sure though, I will do my research on that. But here they are side by side. The Mark I is right here and the Mark II is on the right side. And you can even probably hide the Mark II behind the Mark I. And definitely there's a big difference when it comes to the size and the weight. This is genuinely big, bulky. This is way smaller, way lighter. And I genuinely appreciate that very, very much. As a person who has so many cameras in his backpack and so much lenses, having lighter gear is always a big positive, especially if you're getting the same outcome, if not a new and better look. Now, straight away, both are red badge lenses. Both say they are weather resistant, and both are linear motor, so they are pretty much the exact same technology used in both. But you can instantly see something new and different in the Mark II of the 16-55, which is right here, and it is the aperture declick button. Now, Fujifilm knows that Mark I has been used so much in videos, and one thing about the Mark I is that the aperture clicks, which is something we do know about Fujifilm XF lenses. However, because a lot of people who do shoot video professionally, they don't want the audio of the clicking to show up in their videos, Fujifilm added the aperture declick button, which is something you pretty much see in cinema lenses. Not the fact that that button is there, just the fact that you can change your aperture smoothly without even hearing anything when it comes to changing the aperture. Now, what's good here is if it is on the click side, you still do get the clicking that we know and love from Fujifilm lenses. However, the moment that you switch off the click, and now you have a pretty silent aperture, you can't hear anything pretty much. And this is very helpful because if you're shooting in different conditions and you do want to change your aperture silently without, you know, messing too much with your settings, all you gotta do is just slowly rotate and it is completely silent. You won't even pick it up in any video. Now, another thing that we have as well is if you want to set your aperture into auto, we now have the aperture lock right here. And if you do set it to auto, you just lock it. Now your aperture is pretty much locked in that mode. And now you can pretty much change your aperture using the dials on your camera itself, especially if you're shooting video. Now, this is just the first impressions and a first look at the 16-55 Mark II. I decided to upgrade because I've been using the Mark I for 5 to 6 years now. I genuinely like the lighter weight, especially when I'm vlogging. I do feel the weight specifically when vlogging because I usually use the 16-55 to vlog. I don't have a 10-18 or a 10-24 XF lens, which does exist in the Fujifilm lineup. However, it is an f4. The fact that holding your camera through your lens like this and then using the lighter version, you can absolutely tell the difference. And I know that vlogging with the new 16-55 is going to be way better than vlogging with the old version of the 16-55. Now, one last thing that I have not tested yet, but I have seen on the internet, is the fact that they did fix the bokeh in the new version of the 16-55, so it is less oval and more circular. And I will be doing a bit of testing in my review video that will come out later on. I need to use this lens as much as I can. I need to get as much video footage for you guys, and I need to get as many photos for you guys. But now the fact that I did unbox this new lens and I have actually seen what it's like, I am absolutely super excited to try it out and test it out and see if it's worth it for you to upgrade. But that is it for this video, just a first look. The new 16-55 Mark II, beautiful lens, small, lightweight, doesn't get better than that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and genuinely let me know what you want to see from this lens. Do you just want to see a bunch of sample photos and sample video? That would be easily achievable. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Been wasting all my life.